Imagine walking through Pennsylvania and stumbling upon a town called Intercourse, enough to make anyone do a double take. Or stopping in Mars, where a giant alien head statue is the town's main landmark. Still not weird enough? There's also Centralia, a ghost town with an underground coal mine fire that's been burning since 1962. And Punxsutawney, where a groundhog serves as the town's official weather forecaster. Pennsylvania isn't just about American history and industrial cities, it's also full of weird towns. Unique, quirky, and sometimes downright head-scratching. So let's explore 15 Pennsylvania weird towns that are anything but ordinary. Intercourse, a small town in Lancaster County with a name that makes tourists laugh before they even get there. But the name isn't the only thing that makes it stand out. Intercourse is the heart of Pennsylvania's Amish community. Here, you'll see roads filled with horse-drawn buggies, traditional bakeries, and handmade crafts, all created without modern machinery. What's even more interesting is that Intercourse is often used as a filming location for Amish-themed movies, including Witness, 1985, starring Harrison Ford. So don't be surprised if this oddly named town turns out to be the most authentic place to experience real Amish life. Mars. From Intercourse, we head to a town with an out-of-this-world name, Mars. Yep, there really is a town called Mars in Butler County, Pennsylvania. Its most iconic feature? A giant UFO statue in the middle of town. A must-stop photo op for anyone passing through. Mars also hosts the Mars New Year festival every 687 days, the length of one Martian year. And it's not just a fun gimmick. NASA has even taken part, sending astronauts and scientists to interact with the locals. Imagine that, a small town of fewer than 1,500 people hosting an international space event. Mars also puts on the Mars Exploration Celebration, where kids can participate in space mission simulations.
We're on an Earth calendar, Mars is on a Mars calendar. And Mars year is 687 days. And so Mars, Pennsylvania is celebrating the Mars New Year.
If we've been to Mars, now it's time to visit a town that's all about sweetness, Hershey. Known as the sweetest place on Earth, Hershey was founded by chocolate tycoon Milton S. Hershey, who built his massive factory here in the early 1900s. But he didn't stop there. He also built schools, homes, and even an amusement park for his workers. What makes this town unique is that nearly everything has a chocolatey touch. Streetlights are shaped like Hershey's Kisses. The air sometimes smells like cocoa from the factory. And of course, there's Hersheypark, a theme park originally built for factory employees, now one of Pennsylvania's biggest tourist attractions. Hershey is also home to the Hershey Story Museum, where you can follow Milton Hershey's journey from failed businessman to global chocolate icon. Lititz. Lititz brings a more quirky and artsy charm. Located in Lancaster County, this small town often makes the list of the coolest small towns in America. Its history runs deep. Founded in 1756 by the Moravian community, so don't be surprised if the colonial vibe still feels very strong. What makes it unique is that Lititz is home to the Wilbur Chocolate Factory, one of the oldest chocolate makers in the U.S., as well as the Julius Sturgis Pretzel Bakery. where the first American pretzel was made back in 1861. Even today, visitors can take part in hands-on classes to make traditional pretzels. Beyond legendary food, Lititz also hosts the annual Fire and Ice Festival, where the town streets fill with ice sculptures, street art, and live music. Meanwhile, New Hope has a more artsy and slightly mystical appeal. This small town in Bucks County has long been known as a hub for art and theater. It's home to the Bucks County Playhouse, a historic stage where many famous Broadway actors began their careers. To this day, the town draws in artists, musicians, and writers. But it's not just about the arts. New Hope is also known as one of the most haunted towns in Pennsylvania. Many tourists join ghost tours around the old buildings on Main Street, said to be inhabited by restless spirits from the Revolutionary War era. Its location along the Delaware River adds even more drama to the town's atmosphere, equal parts beautiful, eerie, and creative. Eagles Mere. From an artsy town, we move to a quieter yet equally unique spot. This tiny town in Sullivan County is often called a hidden gem because of its remote setting in the Allegheny Mountains. Eagles Mere is famous for its 230-acre natural lake, which is the heart of the town. No motorboats allowed here, only small sailboats, so it stays incredibly peaceful. What makes this place special is that since the late 1800s, Eagles Mere has been an exclusive resort town. Big names like members of the Rockefeller family and actor Douglas Fairbanks once vacationed here, and even today, its classic vibe is preserved through small museums, vintage-style hotels, and traditions like the Eagles Mere Toboggan Slide, a handmade ice track kids use for sledding in the winter. Smethport. At first glance, Smethport in McKean County looks like just another small town. But dig a little deeper, and it turns out to be pretty weird and unique. The town is famously known as the button capital of the world. In the late 1800s, Smethport became America's hub for button manufacturing. Buttons made from shell and bone were exported around the globe. To this day, there's a Smethport Button Museum that showcases thousands of quirky button designs, from Civil War buttons to Special Olympic editions. Beyond the button biz, Smethport also has a rich history as a once booming oil and lumber town. Roseto. This town is known not for industry, but for a medical mystery that stunned scientists. Roseto, in Northampton County, was once home to a majority of Italian immigrants. Back in the 1950s, local doctors noticed something strange. Almost no one in Roseto had a heart attack before age 65, which was incredibly rare at the time. Researchers later discovered what became known as the Roseto Effect. The secret wasn't diet or exercise, but the town's tight-knit community lifestyle. People knew each other, shared meals, and lived simply. Once younger generations began moving away from those traditions, heart disease rates went up too. Indiana. Indiana has a lighter but still unique claim to fame. It's known as the Christmas tree capital of the world because, since the early 1900s, Indiana has been a major supplier of Christmas trees across the U.S. Even now, thousands of trees are shipped out from here every year. The town even hosts a big holiday celebration every December called the It's a Wonderful Life Festival. Besides Christmas, Indiana is also famous as the birthplace of legendary actor Jimmy Stewart, star of the 1946 classic It's a Wonderful Life. There's a museum dedicated to his career, filled with movie memorabilia. So even though Indiana might sound like a plain name, this town mixes holiday cheer with Hollywood history, creating a vibe that's truly one of a kind for a small Pennsylvania town. York. Meanwhile, York has its own version of historical weirdness. This city is often called the first capital of the United States because, during 1777 to 78, the Continental Congress relocated here during the Revolutionary War. It was from this small town that the Articles of Confederation, the foundation of the U.S. Constitution, were signed. Imagine, a city that now looks modest once served as the seat of the American government. But York isn't just about revolutionary history. It also has a quirky side. Every year it hosts the York Fair, said to be the oldest state fair in America, dating back to 1765. On top of that, the mix of old architecture and modern murals gives York a blend of colonial town vibes and street art culture. This small town in Westmoreland County feels like it's frozen in time. Its main attraction is Fort Ligonier, a fully reconstructed 18th century fort from the French and Indian War. The fort still has all its original details: cannons, trenches, and soldier barracks, so visitors feel like they've stepped back into 1758. What makes it even quirkier is Fort Ligonier Days, a huge October festival celebrating colonial war history with parades, 18th century soldier costumes, and folk music. Imagine a whole town suddenly turning into a living history stage. Beyond the fort, Ligonier is also known for Diamond Park, a diamond-shaped town square that's been a local gathering spot since the 1800s. Jim Thorpe. This town is often nicknamed the Switzerland of America for its stunning Pocono Mountain scenery, Victorian architecture, and a classic train line still running for tourists. Its narrow streets and European-style houses make it feel like something out of a fairy tale. But what makes it truly strange is its name. It's not based on local history, but on legendary Native American athlete Jim Thorpe. In the 1950s, his remains were moved here, even though he had never lived in the town. The reason? To help boost tourism after the local coal industry declined. Kecksburg. This small village in Westmoreland County became legendary, not because of industry or deep-rooted history, but because of a mysterious event in 1965. That year, locals saw a glowing object fall from the sky and crash into the woods. The object was described as shaped like an acorn and has since been known as the Kecksburg UFO incident. Today, the village has the vibe of a ghost town. Low population, a quiet economy, and more outsiders visiting out of curiosity than people moving in. Kecksburg lives on more as a myth than a functioning community. Punxsutawney. This small town in Jefferson County might look ordinary, but its name is known around the world thanks to Punxsutawney Phil, the weather-predicting groundhog. Every February 2nd, thousands gather to witness Groundhog Day, where Phil is said to predict the length of winter. Outside of that festival, though, Punxsutawney feels like a town frozen in time. Its population has declined, the economy isn't very strong, and many old buildings serve as reminders of its former coal industry glory. Ironically, the town is globally famous because of a small animal, while its residents face the quiet realities of a fading small town. Centralia. When it comes to strange towns, Centralia might just take the crown. Imagine a town that's nearly empty, not because of war or disaster, but because of an underground coal mine fire that's been burning since 1962 and is still burning today. The fire creeps below the surface, heating the ground, sending smoke through cracks in the roads, and forcing homes to be abandoned over time. Centralia once had around 1,000 residents, but now only a handful remain, refusing to leave even after the government shut the town down. Its main road, known as Graffiti Highway, was once a popular spot for tourists and content creators before it was closed in 2020. Centralia is a haunting example of how a town can vanish, not with time, but with a fire that never dies.